Hi everyone, this is Richard from Black Sheep Design, and today we have a special interview with the author and an amazing artist and an amazing woman, amazing couple, Sylvia Fein, along with her husband Bill. And they're going to talk about the books Heidi's Horse, along with First Drawing, Genesis of Visual Thinking. Thank you guys for being here. Sylvia, what's your inspiration behind Heidi's Horse?
I had that early interest in children's art in Mexico. And at the same time, I read a book called The Unfolding of Artistic Activity by Henry Schaefer Simran. He talks about art and intelligence. I had never heard this before. Art was always talent. You had talent. It had nothing to do with your brain. I just became enamored of his teaching, and I became his colleague for the next 20 years. So when my daughter was born, just at this moment, this fortuitous moment, I said, well, I'll start collecting her drawings and see if this theory that there is a kind of an evolution, built one form built on another, and that history shows this is true, I'll start having my own little collection.
And what message do you want Heidi's Horse to say to the world?
The main message is that she is not unique. Even though it's such a perfect, example of what can happen, other children they can draw. The thing is that children usually don't get to develop their drawing. They stop about 5 or 6 or 7 because they get interested in other things. But the children who stick to it and who are encouraged in the right way find a new language for themselves. And it is another language and is just important as talking.
Sylvia, please introduce your husband, Bill.
In 1942, I married my husband that I had met 4 years earlier. My husband was in the Air Force. He was a cryptographer. And then later, he founded the Medical Insurance Exchange of California, which was a self-insurance for doctors' malpractice insurance, and the first, really, practically in the world, and to tolerate me all these years. He gets a special medal.
What role did Bill play in the production of your books?
He edited everything I wrote, over and over, and sometimes over and over some more. The language in both my books, Heidi's Horse and First Drawing, is so clear and so precise. Not a word can be changed. It means exactly what it means, and it's very, very clear. And that I owe to him. So we were a good combination.
So Bill, how did Heidi's Horse and First Drawings come to be?
Sylvia had a lot of experience with Mexican kids and with a nursery school that she worked in. Sylvia also had a lot of interest in prehistoric art. We went around and looked at caves and things. It was so clear that the process that her timeline notes depicted, that process was already in the human psyche, because it was precisely the same process that was found in caves and found on walls and found in scribbles of children and rocks and rock walls and everything under the sun that was constructed and designed by human beings. That's what gave rise to the 2 books.
Bill, share us your thoughts about Heidi's Horse.
I knew that this was something unusual because I had never heard of anyone taking the trouble to keep the drawings of their children, and then to date them, and then to comment on them as to what was going on.
And what else would you like to share about First Drawings?
This was a resume of formulations that had been made by people from 30,000 before Christ, and were all over the world. And not only were they all over the world, but they were identical. There was no difference, no matter where you were. Were you in China? Were you in France? Were you in Japan? Or were you in Australia? We saw a lot of stuff all over the place, It was all alike.
That's amazing, Bill. Now, Sylvia, do you want to add anything to that?
As we went around Europe looking at the prehistoric sites, we saw that the remnants that our ancestors had left us were identical to the early formations in children's art. They were the circles within circles, circles with circles around circles, very early human figures with one line for the body. Find these all over the Camonica Valley in Italy, all over the Hawaiian Pahoi, out all over the islands, extravagantly done. Not only did we have a good time, but we had the reiteration that these forms were important to the human mind to discover and to work with as a foundation for art.
Thank you, Sylvia, and thank you, Bill. And if you guys want to learn more about Sylvia and check out some more of her work, go to her website, sylviafeinpainters.com. And also check out the first video that we did on Sylvia. Check out the link below, and it should take you to the first video. Or you can go to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/blacksheepca. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys soon.
In 1942,
Be careful now.